Shout out to LocalEyezMagazine.com. This is the Radical, aka J Nuclear, aka Jack Farrow. LocalEyez Magazine, the support we need. Well, the Radical is basically exactly what I am. The word radical means something in its purest, most rawest, infinite, constant state. And that's exactly what I am. It's exactly what I embody with my music or with anything that I'm pursuing in life, is that it's just infinite, never-ending, raw, pure form. As far as J Nuclear, the J is basically the initial for my first name, but nuclear is the same concept. Anything that's nuclear, like nuclear, it's immortal, it's eternal, it's forever, it's infinite. Nuclear energy, nuclear power. It's like in the core of the sun. It's constant, never ending, never relenting. So the same thing there. And Jack Farrow is just basically, for some reason I have the nickname Jack. People call me Jack. Women call me Jack. Women who are interested in me, basically, intimately interested, sexually, whatever you want to call it. They call me Jack for some reason. And Farrow is just because, you know, like I said in one of my songs, like, I'm bringing black back like I rebuilt Egypt. And Farrow is just to show that I carry with me the beauty and the culture of that motherland, mathematics and surgery and everything you can think of, chemistry, architecture, and just the beauty of that time, and you know, the kingdoms of gold and all of that. Jack Farrow. When I first started doing music, I wanted to do hip hop, you know, hip hop. And I only call it hip hop because that is what people have categorized. They're given this thing that I do, they call it hip hop. That's the closest that I can get to it. I only call it hip hop because it's the name that it was given. People say that hip hop started in the Bronx. You know, I don't believe that. I believe that hip hop is hundreds, maybe thousands of years old. What the roots of hip hop is, the rhythms, the speaking in rhythms, the poetry in it, the patterns in it goes way beyond a borough in the Bronx. It's not true. People hate me for this, but it's not true. No disrespect to Slick Rick and all the guys who were there at the time, but hip hop's a lot older and bigger than you all. And you know, hip hop's old, and hip hop is me. So I would say that I do hip hop. I'm not afraid to say that I do hip hop, even though I do universal experimental music as well. I want to put that in there. Experimental music is music that I like to say bends the laws of physics. You know, that is a little bit unnatural. And when I say unnatural, I mean it's a little bit out of the norm. Like, people don't expect you to do a song that way, or a song about that, or a song in that pattern, or in that rhythm, or with that beat. They don't expect it because they're so used to a steady stream, a flow of similar material. When it's not accepted, I mean, I don't really give a damn. No, I'm kidding. But when it's not accepted, I keep it for myself. And I know it's a selfish thing to say, but sometimes I feel like that people or the world as a whole, they're asleep, whether they want to believe it or not. So because I like to think of myself as awake, I can appreciate it for what it is, and for what it's meant to be. So I do keep it to myself, but at the same time, I'll learn from it. I'll say, okay, people didn't get that, and I want people to get it. So I learn from it. I try to change it. I try to, how can I fix it? How can I make it different? How can I make it more absorbable, but still keep it me? When I research for a rhyme, I'm gonna put it out there because one of my favorite rappers, he says that the secret to creativity is hiding your sources. But I'm gonna put mine out there right now. What I do when I do most songs, well, excluding the ones, because sometimes you hear a beat and it just hits you. Like it literally, people may think it's supernatural, but it literally just pours out and you just make a whole song in a matter of minutes because it just hits you that way. That's a force that can't be explained. But when I'm trying to write a song, I use a word matrix. You know, a word with just various different words that have anything to do with each other. And I play a beat that I may like. And I look at the word matrix. I may even meditate for 30 minutes on totally nothing before I even write a song, just to clear my mind. And I look at the word matrix. I play the beat, look at the word matrix. Maybe stop the beat, maybe not stop the beat, maybe keep it playing. Look at the word matrix and just no particular order, just looking randomly across the page. And it may take 5 minutes, it may take 30 minutes, but eventually something will hit you. I'm always prepared. Someone who thinks of themselves as like an MC, it's like kind of like a master of his craft. So he always keeps, you know, rhymes and thoughts and lines stored in that endless archive. And maybe I'm just thinking for myself or speaking for myself. But I think that all MCs keep that on. Like to the point where you're just like a walking computer, you know. So even though you can write songs about anything, you come up with new songs, you always have these things. It's like all of your songs or rhymes you've ever written in your entire life, whether you throw them away or you think that you forgot about them, you didn't. They're still in there. They'll come out on the spot or whatever. I would say that I'm the radical, aka Jay Nuclear, aka Jack Farrow. I don't want to say that I'm a lyricist because then somebody will say, okay, he's just a lyricist, you know. He's a good lyricist. You know, he's not like, he can't be like the best rapper of all time. And if I say I'm a rapper, they'll be like, okay, he's just a rapper, he's another rapper. If I say I'm an MC, people don't even use that much anymore. But it's still a category. I guess I would say I'm a combination of all three, and then a combination of another three, you know? So I wouldn't say I'm either of those. I would say I'm all of them. In this day and age, I hate to say this, but I think it doesn't matter much, your material. I think it has to do with what you're doing to get yourself out there. Because if the masses see and hear something enough, they just trust it. They trust it. Now, what I have to offer may have worth 1,000 times more than what somebody else has out there to offer, but I think the problem is that people don't see or hear it enough to trust it. They don't trust it. They maybe can hear it and like it and be moved by it, but you have to trust something to keep going back to it, to keep listening to it, to try to follow it. You gotta trust it in some way, shape, or form. No matter what may be out there in the whole sea of everything, I always push what is in my heart and in my mind to be inspirational to the people, to be motivational, to try to uplift them, till when they hear something, it inspires them like a little more than what somebody else is doing. Like, what is he saying? Like, he's motivational, like he's trying to teach me something, or he's trying to show me something, or he's trying to inspire me to give me the strength. And I'll always do music like that, always, you know, never stop doing music like that. Black Mamba Mama, that was an experimental song that I was talking about before. I wanted to shed light on some of the things that I may think about in my mind that it's hard to put into words. But at the same time, that song was about black women. Black women who may be my mother, my sisters, or famous black women in entertainment. actors, and, models, music artists who are just gorgeous. They're the most beautiful thing in the whole entire universe, but they don't get. I don't feel like they get as much recognition as they get. They should be on top of the world, but instead they're somewhere in the middle, and that's not where they belong. So that song was to try to talk about their amazing and their unique beauty that's like just really hard to explain, that you gotta use different metaphors to even try to come close to explaining the beauty that they have. And I try to do it in a unique way, in maybe a hardcore way, an extreme way, but I still try to do it in an experimental way because they needed that light to be shined on them.